Hey, Mike, Greg Beecham with the AP. Welcome to LA, man.
I appreciate it, Greg. Thank you.
What attracted you to this job, and why did you decide on this opportunity, all the ones you might have had this off season?
Uh, Obviously things happen fast right after the season, right? And got to connect with Sean, and it was a pretty simple decision. You're going into an organization that has won, knows how to win, wants to win, has the right system and process and culture in place to win, and to be able to do it with great people, not just Sean, but the rest of the staff. I have a history with not all of them, but quite a few of them, whether it just be a friendship or actually working with them, guys like Raheem. And then just this whole building. There's a lot of great people. So when you pair that up of one winning and two great people, what more could you ask for?
How well did you know Sean, both from your conversation with your brother and just in general?
I've known him really well. Going back to the Washington Redskins, Washington football team. Just back in the 2010, getting to know him there. And then just staying connected with them through the whole time. My 2 years in Atlanta, the 4 years in San Francisco. We usually talk a few times a year, just whether it be schematically or just catching up real quick. And obviously the first time working with them, but have known them a long time.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Greg.
Sarah.
Hi, Mike. It's Sarah Barshop with ESPN. I was just curious. Sean and Les Need have talked about how Sean maybe needs to delegate a little bit more. He said those conversations are going to be ongoing. And I'm just curious, have you talked to Sean about maybe what your game day responsibilities would be, and anything you might be able to take off his plate?
Yeah, Sarah, nice meeting you. Yeah, we've had some of those conversations. Kind of that stuff's a little bit more on the back burner right now. Right now, I feel like I just got here 72 hours ago. I got my family out here. They're out house hunting and school hunting and all that kind of stuff. And then going through some staff stuff right now in terms of finalizing the offensive staff. So that's kind of where our mindset is right now. I've been trying to knock that out and do diligently. And then moving forward, starting next week, really hammer home this roster, figuring out what we got and what we need to do moving forward, and then putting together the offense. So those conversations will come along. Not really worried about them right now. Again, just getting this right staff together and finishing that up, and then the players and foundation next.
What has Matt told you about working for this organization and about working for Sean McVay?
He's told me a lot. Obviously, and even in 2017, being in the same division, we still talk quite a bit. You had to be, a little bit conscious of obviously what you were saying because, we were in the same division. But, loved working in this organization, not just obviously with Sean, but just all the guys, Kevin and Les and just this whole building. And again, just in the 72 hours or 3 days, whatever I've been here, you can see exactly what he's talking about. There's a lot of great people in this building, and, fired up to be here.
Thank you.
Jordan.
Hey, Mike, Jordan Rodriguez with The Athletic. Nice to meet you and welcome. Just wanted to sort of get a better grasp of what your sort of foundational philosophies are as an offensive play designer, and then previously in New York as a play caller as well.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Jordan. It's that's what was, for another kind of aspect of what was so attractive about obviously getting here and getting with Sean. A lot of people say it's the not necessarily the same offense, but similar. And it is similar, but there are differences from what Sean and the Rams have had so much success here, and what we did in San Francisco, what we did in New York, what Matt's obviously doing now in Green Bay. Everyone takes it, and individually you're gonna make it match for what you believe, but you also, more importantly, got to make it match to what your players are and what your roster are. And that's what Sean has done better than anyone I think we'll even give him credit for, in terms of he's matched it to his players, and every year he's had different guys, and every year in the league you are going to have different guys. And so it'll just be fun to start to kind of mesh that up for what we're going to see with this 2023 version. But a lot of the similar foundational stuff, just how can we attack and put pressure on the defense, right? How can we attack and put pressure on them, pre-snap, with our motions, with our formations, with our cadence, and then obviously after that, marrying it with the run and the pass, making all the stuff look as similar as possible, and putting all that pressure on the defense. And you know, and like I keep saying, the word attack. I mean, that's what this system's always been based on: being able to, again, put the pressure, attack, get the explosives, do whatever you got to do that fits within this roster.
Sean has mentioned that he's felt like this team has been at its best when they're ahead of the curve of the rest of the league and even setting trends in certain ways. And I know you've seen that from afar over the years, but without, you know, aside from matching skill, you know, scheme to players, what about that do you think you can be able to do, or like what ideas, how do you get your ideas, and how can you implement them in this system, particularly when so much of this system is now being echoed across the league?
Yeah, no doubt. You know, anytime you have the success that you know, Sean and the group has had here, unfortunately, that's what everyone's going to study. Not just even the offensive coaches trying to pick stuff up and implement it into their systems, but also the defenses. So you do, like, when you win, not only do you lose coaches to other, you know, to promotions in other places, you also, you know, again, people are studying you, so you got to stay ahead of it, and you got to have the, you know, you got to have the stamina every single year and every single off season to come in, reset, and figure out, yeah, that's what we did, but this is what we have to do moving forward. And you know, I'm going to do my part, and my part is to work as hard as I can to make this offense as good as it can be within, you know, again, and I'm always going to go back to what these players can do, you know. So you want to stay ahead of the curve, but ultimately, you know, you got to make sure that we know these players, and I know the guys, you know, Yarbs and Zach and Sean and all those guys that have been here, you know, they know these players better than I do right now. I'm looking forward to really you know, hunkering down and studying them, and again, getting with, you know, putting all our heads together, creating this system, you know, to what we want it to be, but also looking at what the landscape of this league is, and moving forward what it's going to be.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jordan. Gary?
You're on mute, Gary.
Hey, we got mutes.
No question? Gary's in Arizona, so he has a technical difficulty. We'll go back with you, Greg.
There we go. Is he at the Waste Management or the Super Bowl?
He's probably doing both, knowing him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, what did you learn about being a leader and about being a coach as the offensive coordinator of the Jets? What particular things did you take from that job that you'll take forward in your coaching career?
Yeah, I won't pass those 2 years up for anything. You know, there's every building, every circumstance is a little bit different. You know, we decided, you know, 2 years ago it was going to be we're going to go young, and we did, and we committed to that. And there was things I won't share in terms of, you know, what I would do differently or not anything like that. But it was a great learning experience about, you know, building, you know, a roster with a lot of youth. You know, and I was proud of a lot of the things we did, and unfortunately, you know, it stemmed away from us in the back half. But fortunately, you know, I feel I'm in a great situation here. You know, so took that job for a reason to grow and learn. You know, had a good 4 years with the team, you know, up north, and learned a ton there from Kyle and that building, and have so much respect for them. But felt like it was, you know, a step for me to go in a situation that I wanted to learn and grow and get in front of these guys through the good, through the bad. And, you know, again, I appreciate the relationships I had with a lot of those players, all those players, you know, and so great learning experience and ready for the next.
So it was a pretty particular challenge at the quarterback position, obviously, with young guys and older guys, and a lot of outside observers would say whatever, you know, didn't work as well as other things might have gone down to quarterback play. Given that, how excited are you to work with Matthew Stafford and with a veteran quarterback who, you know, has done everything you can do in this league, including win a ring?
Yeah, no, Matthew, you know, even in his time in Detroit, you'd be in awe at a lot of the stuff that he can accomplish on that field. And you know, even when he was in Detroit, just knowing what his teammates and the coaches felt about that guy, and then being able to actually get a little bit more insight when he came here, just by, again, knowing Raheem, knowing Sean, and you know, how they how highly regarded they feel, you know, of Matthew. So it's going to be fun. You know, I know a lot of times, you know, coaches can teach players a lot of things, but in more instances, players can teach coaches a lot of things too. You know, so I'm excited to get working with him, learn from him, you know, and whatever I can provide for him, I'm going to do. And you know, I can't wait to start building that relationship with him.
Cool.
Thanks, Greg.
We're gonna try Gary again.
All right, is this working any better
Perfect.
or no?
Gotcha, Gary.
Okay. Hey, Mike, Gary Klein from the LA Times. Sorry about the technical difficulty. Welcome.
I appreciate it, Gary. Thanks.
So how far back do you go with Sean in terms of, you know, how old were you when you kind of first came into contact with him? And how has that relationship developed over the years?
Yeah, I mean, I was, I was fresh out of college, I'd say. 2010 or 2011, I can't remember the exact date, but just when he got to Washington, I'll never forget. They interviewed him in Washington for the quality control job, and I remember my brother calling up like, "Yeah, we interviewed a QC, and he was awesome," you know. And I'm like, "How good could this QC truly be?" And especially he's as young as I was, you know. And now I think we all know, you know, what he was kind of talking about. But that's, you know, I'd say the first time I met him in person was probably, you know, one of those OTAs. Obviously, Matt and him had a pretty tight relationship right off the bat right there. You know, so just kind of got to know him there, and it just kind of grew. You know, he's always been a guy that I've been able to call when I was coaching in college, or obviously just staying in connection with and be able to learn and ask questions. And you know, hopefully I was able to help him out one way or another, you know, over the last 10 years. And now here we are, and couldn't be more excited to get working with him.
And, you know, your brother has talked, at least in the abstract, about some of the challenges of working with Sean, just, you know, all good, but still, you know, that they essentially would argue like brothers about different things. So I'm just curious what Matt has passed on to you in terms of how to navigate working with Sean.
I'll be honest, I'm surprised you guys know that. I don't pay attention to, you know, kind of what's going on outside of obviously my family and the organization I'm currently in, and obviously now I'm here and you guys know some stuff. But you know, that's what happens when you get two guys that, one, have a ton of respect for each other. They work really hard. It's a competitive environment, not just with the players, but with the coaches and the whole building. It's competitive. It's one of 32, right? And so there are going to be some stressful times, and that can be a good thing. You know, I mean, I wasn't there, so it doesn't really matter. But those arguments and whatnot, I mean, it led to a lot of good stuff. You know, and I've been a part of that too. I've worked with my brother. You know, 2015 was there were quite a few of those arguments. So even before him and Sean, and then 16 we grew and you know, and learned how to work with each other better. And same thing with working with Kyle for all those years. It's a respect thing, and I got so much respect for all the guys I just mentioned there, amongst that I'm not even talking about. So. I'm not worried about that stuff at all. I came into not just Sean, but just from the players, the coaches, and the rest of the people in this building. They've won. They know how to win, and on top of it, they're very, very good people that are highly motivated. So I'm just pumped to be here.
And then finally, from me, and I apologize if you covered this with someone else when I was offline, but what's that transition going to be like for you, having been the play caller with the Jets, to coming into a situation now where Sean is the play caller? Is that, you know, are you prepared for how to handle that?
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's again, for, you know, the years in San Francisco before that, obviously didn't call the plays, and you know, but it's not, honestly, it's not even really on the you know, on my mind at all right now. My mind is totally into, let's finish this staff, let's get the right people for this offensive staff, and then let's get to know these players. Let's you know, figure out what our roster is going to be moving forward, and then let's get the foundation of what this, you know, 2023 Rams offense is going to be. And then whatever happens in August through December, I'm going to be there to support and do my part. You know, so not concerned about any of that, and just again excited to be here.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks, Gary.
Jordan?
Hey, Mike, thanks for the follow-up. Just to kind of follow up on my previous question with a little bit of a big picture lens. Obviously, every offense, every system has its rules, and sort of the players, it's shaped around that as well. But have you kind of noticed in terms of the idea seeking part of this job, any sort of change in where coaches are getting ideas, or sort of what the conversation around those ideas that maybe were more proprietary in the past now, as the world has sort of expanded, have you noticed how that conversation has changed a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think as coaches at any level, or just workers and people in general, you're always trying to grow and expand and learn, right? And, you know, if you're going to just live in this little small bucket of whatever and not try to grow, then, you know, where are you going to get better? And, you know, so as an individual, or as part of a team, more importantly, that's all you're trying to do, you know? And I think, you know, you hope people don't have too big of an ego, and they got the humility to understand that, you know, you don't got all the answers. So you put all your heads together and you go digging. And, you know, one thing that I think that's probably shown up more in the last few years is I think people are looking at the college game a little bit more. How can we incorporate some of the stuff that some of these great college teams are doing? I know right down the road, I haven't met him, but I know in USC that guy's got some pretty good ideas, and he's had some pretty good success. And it doesn't always translate to the next level for obvious reasons, but if you can pluck one thing that's going to help out the Rams, you know, then that's a good thing, you know. So you just got to keep an open mind with that, but you also got to understand, hey, this is the NFL, and this is, you know, how the league's a little bit different, and then again, build it from there.
Thanks very much.
We'll wrap with Sarah.
I know you haven't been in LA that long, but I'm just curious, when you looked at this offense, maybe even just from the outside, what stood out to you and what gets you excited about kind of being a part of it next season?
Yeah, they won a lot of games and they scored a lot of points, right? I mean, that's the simple answer, but they've done it the right way. You know, in all seriousness, the one thing that's always stood out about Sean and the Rams offense is they're as detailed and fundamentally sound as anyone in football, and that's the truth. And you could pop on the tape, and I'm sure you could ask, you know, 31 other teams, and a lot of, you know, they'd all say, you know, similar things. And that's what I'm looking forward to, you know, just to see the little nuances that, you know, again, you study them, you feel a little bit closer to the Rams and Sean and what they've done here than the other people because of the connection you have, but also at the same time you're not in the building. So until you're actually in the building and you see how it gets done, and you know how it turns into a situation where it ends up being player driven, and they take so much responsibility and pride in what they do day in and day out to make sure they are fundamentally sound and detailed and play the right way. So that is the one aspect. You know, the wins and the points, everyone sees that, but it's the detail to actually get there, and how they've gotten there is what has really separated this team, in my opinion, you know, from a lot of teams in this league.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
All right. Hey, Coach, we appreciate your time, man.
Thanks, Artis. Appreciate y'all. Nice meeting you.